Welcome to the Abbey Hotel Munster Car Club Moonraker Forestry Rally. It is round 3 of the Valvoline Irish Forestry Rally Championship here in Ballybourne, County Cork.
The weather played its part in the opening 2 rounds of the Forestry Championship, with fog causing the cancellation of a stage at round 1 and round 2 being halted due to snow just after 2 stages. But spring had truly sprung for round 3 in Ballybourne, County Cork, as the Irish-speaking Gaeltacht region once again played host to the Abbey Hotel Moonraker Forest Rally.
The crews will compete over 8 special stages in this highly anticipated event. Stay with us as we bring you all the action throughout the day.
With results being declared after just 2 stages at round 2 in Limerick, there was a surprising look to the overall points leaderboard as Keith Power shared top spot with Michael Carbon.
So Mickey Carbon, you're currently leading the championship overall with a bit of a haul of points there in Limerick. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, it feels good, hey, to be up there joint leading. I suppose it's a nice position being at this stage of the year, but there's still a right few rounds to go, and today is going to be a tricky day, and there's plenty of men out there charging for the top of the leaderboard. So
Tarmac regular Keith Power was declared winner in Limerick, and after quite an impressive start, how was he finding his debut season on gravel?
It's a big difference. I really enjoy it. You find it hard to go back to tarmac again after it. It's really enjoyable, really easy on the car. Everyone says it's supposed to be really hard on the car, but because it's short mileage, it's so much easier on transmission and everything like that.
Glad to have you converted. We'll keep you here, hopefully.
Thanks a million. All right.
Seeded number 1 was last year's championship runner-up Barry McKenna, who slid his Fiesta off in the snowy conditions at the previous round in Limerick.
Wasn't favourable conditions, unfortunately. That's fog in 1, snow in the 2nd. Hopefully we get a better run today.
Yeah, no, hopefully, yeah. Listen, the weather, it might rain, but it should be grand. But yeah, definitely no snow and we should be good.
Conditions were cold and windy with some rain forecast, but still a big improvement on the opening 2 rounds. Quickest out of the blocks was the Fiesta R5 of Barry McKenna. The New York-based Monaghan driver was fastest by 4 seconds on the opening test, but sadly he and navigator Andy Hayes' rally came to an end when they crashed out on stage 2. Cahan McCourt and Barry McNulty took over the rally lead, but weren't entirely happy with how the Fiesta was handling on the opening loop of 2 stages. A few tweaks at service and the setup was much better for the repeat run, and they led by 26.8 seconds at the halfway point.
6 left up the hill, 60, press, jump and keep left, or 4 left in, keep line on the 4 right, keep, 60, 4 right again, into 3 left, keep, care, river, 4 left, that's 3 left, keep, river, 4 left, crest, into 6 right over crest, 60 to care, short, 3 right in.
geez, the stages are great. The whole rally's great. Everything's in top order, and you've no road miles. It's a real good event. So no, we're enjoying it, hey, and hopefully we'll get the finish now. That'll make it real good.
Up to 2nd overall on stage 2, Patrick and Stephen O'Brien set fastest time on stage 3 and were just 3 seconds off the leaders going into stage 4. Sadly, their rally ended when they cut a corner mid-stage, breaking a steering arm in the Mitsubishi. Former champions Gary Jennings and Rory Kennedy took 3rd overall at the opening round in Carrick-on-Suir after a long hiatus from the woods. Back for another cut in the McKinstry Subaru S14 WRC, a close call on the opener took the wind out of their sails a little, and they were happy to hold 2nd after 4 stages.
Gary, halfway through the day, but you had a big moment there this morning.
Yeah, we had a big moment about halfway through the first stage. So yeah, it kind of knocked my confidence a bit, but we're getting back into rhythm now. We're starting to enjoy it, but I'm sorry, Kenny's poor car looks like a bit of a stock car now, but look, the car's performing very well. It's just me, but yeah, no, happy enough where I am.
With a year under their belts in the ex-Johnny Greer Citroen DS3R5, Niall Henry and Damien Duffin were hoping to make their mark on the 2019 championship. They were glad to hold 3rd overall despite a spin and a puncture on stage 4.
And the flat 5 left, logging 100 over jump. 100 over jump. 5 left okay, and the flat 6 right. Flat 6 right, 100 over bumps. Crest and the 6 left, only 60. Caution, neat 4 left over crest. Neat, and 4 right okay.
a wee gap to the boys behind me, and equally a bigger gap to the boys in front. Had a bit of a boo-boo in the last stage there with a spin and a puncture, so just sort of no man's land there at the minute, so it's all about trying to maintain over the next 4 stages, and hopefully nothing silly happens.
Donald Sweeney felt he wasn't as committed as he should be on the opening stages, so he was happy to be holding 4th at the halfway stage.
5 right 40, 6 left, 60 down, 2 left, and flat 5 right 60, flat 5 right over bump, don't cut, and the flat 6 left 40, 4 left, very long tightens, don't cut, and slowing for a 1 right.
Hot on Sweeney's heels, Joe Hegarty reported no issues across the opening 2 loops of stages and was just 6.7 seconds adrift, back in 5th. Michael Carbon upgraded his Mitsubishi Evo 6 to an Evo 8 for the 2019 season and was delighted to be joint championship leader after 2 rounds. Lying 6th after 4 stages, he felt there was a lot of room for improvement. Sharing the championship lead, Keith Power is a newcomer to the woods, and he was struggling with the setup of his car on just his 3rd gravel event. Jared Lucy had been 5th overall after 3 stages, but had an off on stage 4, and he rejoined his home event under Rally 2 rules. Conor McCourt wasn't the only one unimpressed with his morning's work, as power steering issues and a failed experiment with left foot braking left him outside the top 10 after 3 stages. He went well on stage 4 to climb up to 7th overall. It was great to see former tarmac champion John Coyne taking part in the Moonraker rally. Now resident in the US, John won the California Rally Series in 2016 and was out in a McKinstry Subaru WRC today. A big difference from the Mazda 323 in which he took 2nd overall in the 1995 Forestry Championship.
You're a bit of a veteran of the Forestry Championship. You got unfortunately robbed. The gods were not looking down on you one year and you had to settle up for runner-up.
Yeah, I broke the gearbox on the final stage of the final event. That would have won us the championship, but that's rallying.
WRC obviously a little bit more power, but everything else handling-wise should be fairly similar, and you're comfortable with that.
Yeah, I'm comfortable in the car. I was surprised. It's very easy to drive. Saying that now, I've probably put a jinx on myself for the day, but we'll see.
Sadly, John's talk of a jinx proved prophetic, as the S12 Impreza only lasted a short way into stage 1 before mechanical trouble forced retirement. In the Group N battle, the lead changed hands 3 times across the opening 4 stages. Leading at the halfway point were Niall McCullough and Ryan McCluskey. Stephen Dixon and Tommy Hayes held a class lead for stages 2 and 3, but fell 8.9 seconds behind McCullough and McCluskey after stage 4.
For fast 2 right up, into 3 left, continues into crest, and 5 left 80. For crest, only 60 down to turn 2 left, don't go wide, be neat. Into square right over loose.
Austin Snow and John Henderson were the early leaders, having opened up a 2-second lead after stage 1, but then this happened. Ian Dixon's Mitsubishi didn't like the water splash very much, as the engine conked out on impact. The stranded car caused a little bit of a tailback, and Austin Snow's lead went up in smoke and in steam. Pace setter in the 2-wheel drive section was David Crossan, with Aileen Kelly calling the notes in the Ford Escort Mark II. Former champion Crossan was quickest in class on every stage and held 8th overall at the halfway point.
David, you're looking very relaxed leading the 2-wheel drive.
Yeah, it's been a good morning. The long stage, 2 and 4, has been a very tricky stage, a lot of driving in it, and just haven't felt like we had a good run over it now, but we've been quickest in every stage here, so shouldn't complain.
Almost 20 seconds adrift, defending champion Shane McGurr had no answer to the pace of Crossan and held 2nd in class and 10th overall, with Liam McIntyre calling the notes in the Toyota Starlet. Another former champion, Mickey Conlon, with current 2-wheel drive Navigators champion Kieran McPhillips on the notes, had been pushing for the class lead before crashing out on stage 4. William Creighton and Liam Regan had been second to crossing in the overall two-wheel drive standings after 3 stages, but an overshoot on stage 4 saw them slip into third, whilst holding 11th overall in the front-wheel drive Peugeot 208. Just 3 seconds off crossing after stage 1, Derek Mackerel was pushing his Vauxhall Nova to the limit as usual. He was 4th two-wheel drive and leading the junior class 16A at the halfway point.
Derek, 4th two-wheel drive on the road, things must be going well for you.
Yeah, they're going well. You know, we're having a good old run on the stages. This kind of suit me to do, and we got a bit better rhythm there in that last stage, so it did. So compared to the first time over, so it really helped the whole pace, so it did, and we're going well enough.
Leading the junior Class 16 was the Honda Civic of local crew Kieran Lynch and Adam Power. 3rd overall junior was the Class 16A Peugeot 208 of Kyle White and Sean Topping, who lost a lot of time when the windscreen fogged up after going through the water splash on stage 2. It could have been worse though, as Brian Brady found out when his bonnet flipped up through the splash and he slid into a ditch. He lost over 15 minutes but eventually got going again. In the J1000 class for 16 to 18 year olds in cars with 1 litre capacity engines, championship leaders Kyle and Kieran McBride were quickest on every stage to lead by 42 seconds in their Toyota Aygo. Last year's runner-up, Peter Beaton, was over from Scotland once again and holding 2nd in his Peugeot 107. Marcus McElwee was a further 19 seconds back in 3rd in the Skoda Citigo. Back at the head of the overall battle, the leaderboard looked like this. And with 2 new stages to do twice in the afternoon, it was far from over at the Abbey Hotel Moonraker Forest Rally.
It's all action here at the Abbey Hotel Moonraker Forestry Rally. Cahan McCourt leads the rally by 26.8 seconds. Join us for more after the break.
Welcome back to Ballyverney, County Cork for part 2 of the Abbey Hotel Moonraker Forest Rally, where the crews were preparing to tackle 2 new stages, each done twice. The second of those stages was actually a version of stage 2 and 4 done in reverse. Rally leaders Cahan McCourt and Barry McNulty added another second to their advantage on the short 5th stage, but dropped a few seconds on the longer stage 6 to lead by 24.3 seconds with 2 stages to go.
60 past the logs. Right on crest bumps, okay, 130. 5 left, into 5 right, loose, 60. Flat jump, 60. 4 right, keep and it's very loose. Into 5 left, 60. Loose through the bales for the square left. And there's a ditch outside on the square left.
With the Subaru WRC looking a little worse for wear after some mishaps on the morning stages, Gary Jennings was determined to have a clean run in the afternoon, and it was so far so good as he managed to close the gap to rally leader McCourt. Niall Henry found the new stages to his liking, but admitted there would be no heroics across the final 2 tests as he bid to take his first podium finish in the championship this year.
6 left over crest and the crest. 40 chicane right entry, tight. Drive. Chicane right entry, tight, drive. Water splash. Into 4 right and slippy. Into 5 left past ruin. And crest into 5 left slippy. Into long 5 right, 40, flat 6 right through dip. 130 up middle.
So before we find out how the overall battles conclude, let's wrap up the various classes now. And there was misfortune in the J1000 class for Marcus McElwee and John Henderson, who after surviving this stage 6 incident, ditched their Skoda Citigo on the final stage. Winners on the opening round, Rhys Pollock and John Burke, almost did likewise, but ploughed on to claim 3rd in class at the Moonraker. Peter Beaton and Conor Boylan finished second in class in their Peugeot 107. But taking a dominant win in the J1000 class were Kyle and Kieran McBride, who moved 4 points clear on the leaderboard after 3 rounds.
First stage we were quick out of the blocks, and the car, set up the car was unreal, and we just kept pushing and pushing and pushing, and I felt very comfortable in the car, you know, so it's all good.
In the junior class 16 battle, second place keeps Shane Keneally and Ger Connors well ahead and at the top of the class leaderboard. Taking the class 16 win on home soil were Kieran Lynch and Adam Power in another Honda Civic.
Of our junior 1600 class.
We had a few problems there, but thanks to lads in service to get stuff started anyway. So great stages and everything. It was great rally.
In class 16A, Kyle White and Sean Topping finished second in their Peugeot 208 R2. But taking a convincing win were Derek Mackerel and Murren Hayes, who finished 11th overall in the Vauxhall Nova.
We had a good run in the very first stage this morning. It was the last stage we ran last year, and I was fairly confident going into it. So we had a real good run to that, and that set the day up then. So did, and from there we just kept plugging away the same way we did.
Taking the honours in Class 1 were David McCauley and Andrew Moore in the Honda Civic. In Class 2, William Creighton and Liam Regan led all day, finishing third in the two-wheel drive battle and 8th overall in the Peugeot 208 R2. In Class 9, Lee Bracken was having quite a battle with Damien O'Donovan until the latter's Ford Ka succumbed to mechanical trouble after Stage 4. Bracken went on to take his third maximum of the season, with Francis Kelly calling the notes in the Honda Civic. A dominant force in Class 10 for several years, Mike Garahy was on course for another facile victory until retiring his Escort on the final stage. Pierce Doheny and Ailish Dunn finished second in class and claimed maximum points in their Opel Corsa, as class winners Gary Kelleher and David Beamish aren't registered for the championship. It was great to see one event sponsor getting involved in another, as Paul O'Connor, who has backed the Cork Forest Rally for the last few years, took to the stages with Helen Switzer calling the notes in the Class 11F Honda Civic.
Absolutely fantastic. Great excitement, great buzz altogether. You'll be seeing a lot more of me soon.
Adrian Beattie and Declan Ryan finished second in Class 11F, scoring maximum points as class winners Ian McCarthy and Patrick O'Sullivan aren't registered for the series. In Class 11R, Raymond Doyle and Jarlath Kelly took the honours in their Toyota Corolla. Brian Little took maximum points in Class 12, with Adam Semple navigating in the Escort G3, while unregistered crew Ray Benskin Jr. and Stephen Walsh took the Class 12 win on the day. There was a great battle in Class 13, where Gary Kiernan and Darren O'Brien just missed out on a podium position, finishing in 4th place, just 0.7 of a second off 3rd place John Gordon and Thomas Wedlock, who finished 12th overall. Over 40 seconds ahead and 7th overall, Shane McGurr and Liam McIntyre had to settle for the runner-up spot in the two-wheel drive standings. Taking the Class 13 and two-wheel drive honours were David Crossan and Aileen Kelly, who finished over 20 seconds ahead and 6th overall, but not before almost ditching their Escort within view of the finish line on the final stage.
Worked well, and it was a great rally, so it was a fantastic organisation as usual, and Aileen done a first class job in the notes.
Good day in the office.
Brilliant day.
In Class 14, Adrian Hetherington wasn't happy with the setup of his Escort Mark II for the morning stages, but having taken over the class lead from the retired Mickey Conlon, Adrian was steadily climbing up the overall leaderboard until he and navigator Ronan O'Neill retired after stage 6. To the four-wheel drive classes now, and the Group N Class 4 battle went down to the wire, with Niall McCullough and Ryan McCluskey leading by 12 seconds going into the final loop. Stephen Dixon and Tommy Hayes really attacked the two stages, setting fastest group end times and a 6th fastest time overall on special stage 7 to snatch class victory by just 1 second and finish 9th overall.
So on the second crest into short, 2 right down, continues into crest and 3 right, into 3 left beneath, 60. For very long, 3 right, opens to 5 right over crest jump.
Conor McCourt and Caelan McKenna had been on course to bring home the Class 5 trophy, but a downpour of rain on the final test made conditions treacherous and they slid their Fiesta R5 off the road just around this corner near the end of the final stage. Taking up the Class 5 mantle, Paul McCann and Paddy Plunkett stayed the course to take the class win and finish 17th overall in the Fiesta S2000. Marty McKenna took the Class 7 honours and finished 14th overall, with Martin Brady calling the notes in the Fiesta WRC. In Class 15, John Reid and Enda Shields took a start-to-finish victory in the Toyota Corolla. After netting maximum points at the shortened round 2, Keith Power had to make do with 16th overall this time round, taking 3rd in Class 20 with navigator Seamus O'Grady. 2nd in class and 5th overall was enough to keep Michael Carbon and Conor Mohan at the top of the overall leaderboard after 3 rounds. Just 1.2 seconds ahead and 4th were Joe Haggerty and David Turkington, who take home the Class 20 trophy for their efforts. Back to the battle for the overall podium positions now, and the downpour on the final test seemed to catch Gary Jennings and Rory Kennedy out too, as they crashed the McKinstry Subaru out not far from the finish line. Surprised and delighted to be promoted up the leaderboard, Donald Sweeney and Dean O'Sullivan finished 3rd overall in the Mitsubishi Evo 6.
4 right, 60, 3 right long, don't cut, and long 6 left, tight and stay fast, 4 left, go on you kill you, and 3 left in, 40, 2 right long over finish, and 1 left, opens, and 2, 3 left,
Lad,
well done.
it was worth the whole day.
Over 40 seconds ahead and 2nd overall was the Citroen DS3 R5 of Niall Henry and Damien Duffin, who also moved to 2nd on the overall leaderboard. Moving to 3rd on the leaderboard with their first outright win in the championship, Cahan McCourt and Barry McNulty had a faultless drive in the Fiesta R5 and arrived back to rally headquarters at the Abbey Hotel in Ballyverney with over a minute to spare in the end.
Great rally, very well run. The car has been A1, stages A1, and Barry's been first class all day, so I suppose I haven't done too bad myself. I say it's first ever win, rally win, first ever podium. No, over the moon, over the moon.
And there's confirmation of the results of the Moonraker Forest Rally, and after 3 rounds there are some big changes on the overall championship leaderboard. Next up is the challenging Donegal Forest Rally.
At the end of a challenging day, Cahan McCourt takes a well-deserved victory here at the Abbey Hotel Moonraker Forestry Rally. From me and all the team here in On The Limit Sports, thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.